Welcome to the first video of a new series that I'm going to try out called Memory Unlocked. So what is this series going to be looking at? It's going to be looking at moments in video games that have for some reason stuck in my memory. I have little doubt that most of these will be story elements that I either really enjoyed, found emotional, really surprised or shocked me, or gave me some kind of experience that made it memorable for me. Some of these will be story moments that are well known and talked about frequently. Other moments may be more due to my own experience and my journey of playing video games. For example, experiencing something in the NES era for the first time that has maybe become standard or even moved on from and isn't going to be as memorable to those who would play it now. Given the nature of this series, many of these videos will have spoilers. Sometimes the spoilers will be on the light side, but looking at some of the moments that I have planned to cover in this series, there will also be heavy spoilers involved as well. The first event that I want to look at is from an older game. It's from the first Final Fantasy game that was released way back in 1987. The footage here is from the Pixel Remaster re-release that is currently available on modern platforms because that's what I have access to. And the moment I'm focusing in on is when you rescue Princess Sarah and then are rewarded with a bridge that allows you to progress further in the game. Now, admittedly, this is not a super dynamic moment compared to many other story moments in video games. Even so, it is a moment that has stuck with me from when I was just a young boy playing the original on the NES. So what is it about this moment that left such an impression on me? I think in part it had to do with the idea that so many games had rescuing a princess as the major goal in the game. Mario and The Legend of Zelda both had this as at least part of the main goal of your journey. Even Dragon Quest, or Dragon Warrior as I knew it growing up, had rescuing a princess as more of a mid-game achievement. Whereas here in Final Fantasy, you rescued a princess as the first of many goals in the game. It really made me wonder where the game was going to go after this. I mean, I've already rescued a princess. What other kind of adventures am I going to be a part of? And this reality connected with the idea that the world grew in size due to the rebuilding of a bridge to the north of the castle. You were now able to travel beyond the small piece of land that you started on, and it opened the world up to your party, and you got to see what else was in store for you in this big, wide world, at least by NES era times. It's not a huge world compared to some games that we have today, but back then it was a good-sized world. To top off this moment, you get the little cutscene that announces how this is just the start of your journey, which is something that I remember took me by surprise the first time I crossed that bridge. I wasn't expecting to get a little scene explaining how this is only the very start of your journey to save the world. I can't really remember another game that did it the way that Final Fantasy did up to then. That in it contained the now iconic Final Fantasy music that made it all the more memorable for me. Now I understand that this is just a way to limit where you were able to go from the start, so you didn't miss important story aspects or go off into areas that were too difficult too soon. However, as a kid playing the game, these moments really worked well at getting me excited for the journey to come. 20 to 30 minutes or so into the game and I've already rescued a princess, and that's just the start of my journey to save the world with these mysterious crystals that each party member has. It may have been a way of limiting the play area, but it was done in such a way that it became a very memorable aspect of that first Final Fantasy game for me. This is definitely one of those moments that people playing the game now for the first time may not experience the same way. But I know that as a kid, this moment really impacted me and has stayed with me many years later. It was an epic start to an epic quest and to what would become an epic and beloved series of games. This moment that marked out the start of a quest seemed like a great way to start this series of videos. It might not be a moment that everyone finds super compelling, but this is just the start of a series looking at moments both big and small that have left an impression on me as I've played games over the years. So let me know what you think about this idea for a new series. Is it something that sounds interesting or not so much? Also, do you have any memories of the moment when the bridge was built and you crossed over it for that first time from that first Final Fantasy game? Was it one that stuck with you, or did it not really have much of an impact? Let me know in the comments. It's always fun to see how experiences wind up being very similar to each other and how our experiences wind up being very different. Let me know in the comments and share your own memories of this moment. That's all for this video though, so I'll see you in the next one.